Hey everybody, Mo Hashim here with Flat Fee Landlord DC Metro. Hope everybody is enjoying their 4th of July weekend. 4th of July is actually tomorrow, so I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July Independence Day. Today's video is going to be quick, and it's going to be about a common theme of concerns and questions that we usually get this time of year, which is in regards to noise complaints and HOA violations. Summertime, 4th of July, a lot of people out there, tenants throwing parties at properties. They can result to eventually getting loud or causing some issues with neighbors. A lot of landlords call our offices asking, hey, I just got an HOA violation because the tenant wasn't upkeeping with this, or I got the neighbor calling me saying the tenants are being too noisy. What do I do? And a lot of that really does come back to what I always say is having a good lease in place to begin with. A lot of your answers are going to be in that lease. So if you got a nice tight lock lease in place, that solves a lot of your questions, okay? But what I would say is most standard leases do have a clause that say that the tenant is going to be held responsible to the same bylaws that the property owner is when it comes to HOA and condo associations. As the homeowner and as the landlord, as a tenant, you obviously own that property, so you signed off on the bylaws when you bought the property. Ultimately, you will be held responsible by the HOA and the condo association for any fines or penalties that they may impose because of the way your tenants may treat the property. But something that you can do legally to kind of cover yourself is to make sure that your lease has a clause inside it. Make sure your lease has something inside of it that says that the tenant is also held responsible for any fines or levies or anything else that the HOA or condo association may pass on to the owner. Okay, so something else that I try to tell people is in regards to noisy neighbors. If you get a complaint from the neighbors about your tenant being too loud, a lot of times these things can be resolved by just communicating with the tenant. Whether it's you as the homeowner or even asking the neighbor that made the complaint in the first place, ask them if they've actually went and knocked on the door or reached out to the tenant and asked them to bring the noise level down a little bit. A lot of times that just solves the problem. However, if it doesn't, the neighbor has their right to call the authorities and let the authorities basically be the judge of whether it's too loud or not. And really, when it comes down to it, when the tenant is leasing the property, they're leasing the property as well as all the rights that come with leasing that property. So, sometimes when it comes to noise can be a judgmental thing. You don't want to kind of interject yourself sometimes when it comes to things where a judgment call is made. If the neighbor that has the issue really, wants you to do something, I would almost ask them to treat it as if you were the one that are living there, and what would they normally do if the homeowner was living there. If they wanted to call the authorities, go ahead and call the authorities, let them be the judge, and if there's an issue at that point where they're breaking the law, or if they're violating a lease provision, or violating the HOA or bylaws with the condo association, then at that point it becomes a lease issue and you can enforce it at that point. But until then, it's really not something that you can do as a landlord, is try to enforce. So those are a few tips, like I said, common things that come up this time of year. I really hope you and your family enjoy the 4th of July and are very safe. In regards to property management services, if you have any questions or need anything from us, please feel free to reach out to us. You can go to our website at flatfeelandlord.com.